Why does it still not show me that I'm recording?
Okay, that was really annoying. Thought I was recording and there was no card in the camera. I'm an idiot. So anyway, today I'm just putting my Elta MD sunscreen on. I just wanted to try some new Complexion products that I got. And I was watching a Wayne Goss video, The God of Makeup. It was like his, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was his video basically about like placing concealer in the very inner corner of your under eye where there's darkness and leaving this area just like untouched. Because when you smile, at least when I smile, I get like a lot of creasing there. And if you put product there, it's going to crease. And that's a problem that most of us have, like the older we get. And, you know, it's just like kind of one of those things where the older you get, the more makeup you wear, it just tends to kind of like crease up in lines. And, you know, it's kind of hard to just like avoid that. Anyway, so I wanted to try that technique as well as some complexion products and just kind of like, that's basically it. I have a couple of tinted moisturizers. I went to Sephora recently for the first time and like was actually able to touch and swatch things. So I picked up a couple products and I just wanted to like test them out with you guys. I've found that the easiest way to not have my sunscreen pill is by applying it like this slowly in sections and not just slather it all over my face, and also not like rub too hard, because then it starts to kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of pills. It's really annoying. But you also want to make sure that you're applying a thick enough layer to actually protect your skin, you know? But do you see, like, the more I press, I don't know if you can see that, how like product is kind of pilling up on my fingers? It's annoying. If anyone is ever wondering how I get like a dewy look to my skin, I swear it's just this fucking sunscreen. Look at this. Glowing. Okay, so I read online that you're supposed to let your sunscreen absorb for like 30 minutes or so. Wait, was it 30 or was it 10? Because that's gonna make a big difference. So yeah, you're supposed to apply sunscreen first before you apply primer, because primer is basically like makeup. And then, I don't know, I guess you're supposed to like just let it absorb before you go in with it. So I guess I'm just gonna wait a few minutes, I don't know. Okay, I guess I'm gonna zoom you in. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my. So the first thing that I want to try is this primer that I picked up from Bite Beauty. This is the Changemaker Skin Optimizing Primer for normal to oily skin. They also had one that I believe was for normal to dry skin. It does seem nice. It has kind of, it's white. It's got kind of like that pore filling situation feel. But what I liked when I swatched it was that it felt really cooling and hydrating. You know what I mean? Like normally those pore filling primers or like mattifying primers, because I'm not entirely, I mean, because it's for normal to oily skin, I just kind of assumed that it was supposed to like mattify a little bit. So those primers typically kind of like either dry out your skin, or like matte primers, I feel like usually dry out my skin, or they just kind of like create this weird like silicone-y covering over your, or film over your face, without, which I wish I could speak, which I don't like. So this felt like it was relatively hydrating, you know, and just kind of like more smoothing, not really mattifying, but more smoothing. So I like to use these kinds of primers in my T-zone, anywhere where I have, you know, bumps or texture, which like my temples have been getting a little bit better. But like my, I feel like the middle of my face still kind of looks like shiny, so I don't know how much like, I don't know if it's even supposed to mattify. I don't know. I just know that it's for normal to oily skin. I feel like I want to use it like in an evening when I'm not wearing sunscreen to see how it works, because I can see some pilling happening on the lower half of my face. But that was actually happening when I was like applying my sunscreen before I even applied the primer. So, okay, so I'm going to apply my color corrector in just like my very inner corner, because I'm going to try this Wayne Goss situation before I start getting into my complexion stuff. So I'm going to use like a tiny brush to blend this out. This is the Linda Hallberg's 304 brush. I guess it's not that tiny, but it seems like there's a hair on the end that just stabbed me in the eye. Seems like a good blending brush. So my inner corner, my like very inner corner, is where I tend to get the most darkness. And then I'm just gonna kind of like pat it here. So his technique was basically from his latest video, and I'll link it down below if I remember and if I don't yell at me, was keeping the product in this area because when you smile, it doesn't do a whole lot of moving. But when I smile, I get these lines over, well, I get them fucking everywhere, but for the most part, I get lines like out here, the creasing, you know? So if I put concealer there, over time, it's gonna crease. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get lines there. Even if I do my makeup really, really well, I hydrate really well, I use a nice setting powder, a good concealer, maybe an eye primer, it still ends up creasing eventually. My problem is I have some like creases, natural creases all the way up to my inner corner, so I have to be careful with this area as well. So his philosophy was just keeping the product like right in here in the area where you get that darkness, or the majority of people have that darkness, and it will help prevent creasing. Now, I don't really get like crow's feet, you know? I mean, I guess I do a little bit when I squint, but they're not like too bad, so I don't really see a whole lot of product pilling, so I'm just gonna use, I didn't put anything more on the brush, but just a little bit of color corrector right there. I don't even know if that made a difference. Now I'm gonna go into my complexion products because I like to do that before I actually like use my concealer. I'm gonna use this this Melt Cosmetics, new Melt Cosmetics brush, which is actually for the illuminators or luminizers or whatever these are that I'm gonna be trying. But I just feel like it's gonna be so good to apply this next complexion product. So I picked up 2 tinted moisturizers because wait, right? Tinted moisturizers? Yeah. Sort of. So the first one is Tarte Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer with SPF 20, which I've seen and I just wanted to try it. This is in the shade Ivory. I swatched it at the store and it just seemed to match really well and I liked the formula of it. And then this is the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude True Skin Natural Glow Foundation, which I think was like kind of similar-ish, you know, like very hydrating and whatever. I swatched them in the store. You just can't like really tell, you know what I mean? So this one matches my skin really well. This one's ever so slightly light. So I thought I would do like a kind of a combo, you know, like use this and then maybe like focus this in the high points. I'm just gonna apply a little bit on the brush and then just kind of like work it into the skin. And I typically like using makeup brushes when I want like a more lightweight application. I know some people use brushes when they want like a more full coverage application, so I think it's really just kind of like up to you, like what works best for you. I tend to just gravitate towards sponges when I want like more glam and more coverage. I don't know why it's different for different people, but that seems to be the case with everything, so. But this just seemed really nice, like very hydrating, but not like too oily. The coverage seemed nice, like it did a lot of just kind of a little, you know, like color correction and evening out without being too much. Although my T-zone is looking quite dewy right now, so we'll have to see. Especially since I started using those prescription skincare products and my skin is adjusting. My skin is adjusting. It's been taking its time, but it is adjusting. And I'm pretty happy with the results thus far. But my skin itself has been like pretty dry, you know? The extra hydration is just a bonus, I think. Let's see if we can build that up, especially in this area. Just using like light patting motions. Kind of. It's still pretty lightweight, you know? But it feels nice and cooling and I don't know. The first time I did try this like a few days ago after I first got it just to like test out the colors. And I basically just used my fingers and kind of like patted it around and that seemed really nice. So my product's kind of pilling like around my, this whole area, my mouth and jaw and stuff. And that seems to, for whatever reason, that seems to be happening since I started using that One Exton. That's really pretty, I think. It's like very glowy, hydrated. Let me know. I obviously didn't apply that much. I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit more on my sponge and just kind of see like if it applies more, how the finish looks. So I seem to always prefer applications with my sponge. Just kind of feel like it applies so well, like evenly and just kind of presses the product into the skin. There's something about that extra hydration from the sponge. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like application with a sponge is just always so much better, you know? I'm gonna build up a little bit around my temples. This is a new beauty blender. I don't know. Once again, I got it at Sephora. I think it's I'll have to look this up again, but I think it's made from recycled materials or something, and that's why it's green. And I was thinking of whoa, Bio Blender. What brand is that? I just forgot. Bio Blender. The one that I was using, Eco Tools, duh. Because it died recently, mine died, and that's biodegradable, which is part of why it died. It was ready to biodegrade. And anyway, so I was thinking of that when I was looking at this, and I asked the woman at Sephora, and she wasn't sure. She was like, I don't know if that's biodegradable or not, or if it's just from recycled materials. I can't remember. I feel like that's really nice. I have some product pilling around my eyebrows and like down here, but that's mostly from my skincare and my sunscreen. That seems to be something that I'm like just kind of still struggling with, can't really figure out. But the color looks beautiful. I mean, it's like a really nice match, you know? Not too much. Rather than doing like highlighting with concealer, actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna do the Wayne Goss concealer technique first. So I'm gonna use my Jouer Essential Concealer. This is in the shade Chiffon. And once again, we're just applying it in the inner corners, and I'm gonna just dot a little bit right there. So we're focusing all of the coverage like right in there. You can see, I'm so repetitive. I'm gonna use that same Linda Hallberg's brush. Kind of feel like I'm gonna love this. I feel like every time I try a Wayne Goss technique, I'm like, oh my God, my life's been changed. So I'm just kind of like avoiding this area where my creases are in the very inner corner and taking it just into that hollow where I have that darkness. I'm gonna kind of just buff a little right there just because it sort of extends there. Bring it up onto the side of my nose to brighten up this whole area. He made the point that like taking your concealer all the way up to your lash line, like a lot of people complain about how that makes their eyes look tiny, and that's something that I've heard from you guys as well. And it really is because it just kind of like closes the eye because you're sort of just like removing all of the definition. Like this under eye area, I still have darkness there, but it's part of like the definition of my eye. So by getting rid of that, it ends up making my eyes look a lot smaller. I think that looks pretty good. I think, it's a little uneven right now because I don't have any highlighting happening anywhere else. So I think I'm going to use my Neo Nude for that though. I'm just taking my sponge and just going over the outer part to pick up any extra in case I brought it out a little too far. All right, I'm going to go in with my Giorgio Armani foundation. This is in the shade 3, I think. And I'm going to do just a similar thing. I'm going to use that Melt foundation, or I guess it's not a foundation brush. So I think this is supposed to have a little bit more coverage. Like this is supposed to be like more of a luminous foundation, true to skin natural glow foundation. So I think it's just supposed to be like, glowy. This is a little bit lighter than the Tarte BB cream. So I'm just gonna use this to add a little bit of highlighting to the face. I think you can see how much lighter it is. The tops of my cheekbones, but it's actually providing a little bit more coverage than I was expecting. And so rather than using a concealer at the end of my eye, just like right here, just gonna blend that a little bit. I'm gonna use that to kind of like lift and to brighten up the cheekbone. So keeping coverage nice and light in that area. Not using any additional product, but just taking what's left over around my nose, into my smile lines a little bit, put it on my chin. Just wanna make sure that my highlighting is even throughout my face. It worked pretty well, Highlighting without it being too much coverage or ridiculously noticeable, The formula seems really nice. Unfortunately, the color is just too light that I picked up, so, I'm not gonna be using that as a foundation, but I'm definitely gonna be using it to do some highlighting, because I've been kind of like moving away from heavier concealers. Having said that, I am going to conceal around my temples a little bit more with my Kosas concealer in the shade O2W. So I'm just going to place a little bit where the darkness is that I need, and I'm going to use that same Melt. What is this called? Oh, it doesn't have a name. Well, it came with their new illuminators, so I'm sure that you can find it, but it's the smaller of the two angled brushes, Complexion brushes. And I just like it because it's got these like duo fiber, it's like, it's packed tight enough, but it's got these nice like duo fiber bristles. So it's really good for a lighter coverage. I like this face. I'm liking this face. I'm just gonna apply the tiniest amount of the Jouer concealer in this area because I just kind of feel like it's looking really dark. So I just filmed a really quick brow toot. So we're back. I'm going to set my face now. So I received these Jaclyn Hill I think they're the under eye brightening powders. Yeah, under eye brightening powders. So I have Brightening Lilac, which is like basically white, but it's got like a little bit of purple in it. And then I have Brightening Light Banana, and they're like, this one's too light and this one is too dark almost. So I was gonna mix them. Yeah, I mean, it's white, but like I guess it has like a little bit of a lilac kind of, you know, tone to it. It's very hard to see. Anyway, I'm just gonna dust a little bit of that in the cap and then dust a little bit of the yellow. That's the yellow. Which like for me, cause like I'm, you know, really white, that would just look like yellow under my eyes. So I don't want to use that, but those are the two lightest shades. I think, or was there a pink? But I don't like pink. So this is what I'm gonna use to set underneath my eyes. Do a little bit of brightening. Let me just make sure that I'm blended. I've used it a couple times and I just like haven't really been able to decide if I like it or not. But that looks pretty nice. I mean, it's very smoothing, right? It's not bad. I feel like it actually works pretty nicely with this whole technique. I don't know if I would necessarily say that I like it better though than my LC Cosmetics powder, you know? I'm gonna use a little bit of it just in the center of my forehead because I always like to use the same powder that I brighten my under eyes with in that area. Also just here in my smile lines, just a little bit, and then on my chin. That's not bad. I think it looks nice. It works really well. Maybe it's a little dry. I don't know. It's tough because I am on this skincare journey. So like, I'm still trying to figure out my products because I feel like everything kind of like pills or sort of like flakes up at some point. So it's not the easiest. And then I'm going to, I had this product. I didn't really like it at first. I don't know why. It's the Kosas Breezy Clouds, the Cloud Set powder. This one is in the shade Breezy, and I just picked it up again because I was like, I just feel like I didn't give it a fair shot. So I've been trying it. I'm applying this with my Wayne Goss brush, 20 or the Perfect brush or something like that. I can't remember what it is. And I'm basically just going to kind of pat. I'm just doing like very light setting, basically. The color of this is actually very nice. I'm still a little undecided on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, what your skin type is and what you think. I don't know. This is in the shade Breezy. And it doesn't seem to be like too matte or anything. I don't know. I never really know. Honestly, I never really know what I'm looking for when I'm using a powder. What the fuck? Why was that? How did I get lip liner on my eye? Why do I always set my face before I use my cream blush? So annoying. Another thing that I picked up two Nars products because I'm just like not familiar with Nars. I was talking to somebody recently and they were like, basically singing the praises of Nars, and I was like, I like have no experience with them. So I picked up the Air Matte blush in the shade Orgasm, which I know is like their most popular shade, right? And it is really freaking pretty. There's some kind of like big gold flecks in it, but they didn't really bother me. I played with this on like clean skin, just applying it with my fingers, and it seemed really nice. But I'm gonna use the butt of my sponge. I'm just gonna kind of roll it around. Ooh, might be too much, but I think it's like pretty light. Yeah, it's very light. So I'm gonna, it is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. Can you see those gold flecks though? I'll be honest, they don't really bother me, but I feel like that could be like annoying to some people. It kind of just looks like glitter. It actually, probably because it's matte, it goes over like my powder really well. But yeah, for whatever, I don't know. I actually see, I think, more of the gold flecks than I see the actual blush. But maybe that's because I'm using a sponge. I feel like it wasn't that obvious. Well, I don't know. It's kind of pretty. I can't decide. All right, and then I also picked up the Nars. I had been staring at this for like a really long time on Sephora.com, and you can't go by swatches, you know, it's so hard. So this is their bronzing powder in the shade San Juan, which very pretty. Like a fair terracotta, I would say, you know? Like what can I compare it to? Here's the Wayne Goss bronzer. Wayne Goss, a little bit more blonde, I'd say. A little bit more blonde. This has much more, it gives me island vibes, you know? Turks and Caicos, that kind of deal. Here's the Huda Beauty Glowish, which I had been loving, you know? More neutral-y, kind of hard to see with the swirls, but you can see what I'm saying. It's just like very warm. So I'm gonna use this guy. I'm gonna apply that with my whatever brush this is. Is it a Nars brush? Or is it Japanesque? Can't remember. Someone told me, but I forgot. Just pat the outer perimeter of my face. Because when I swatched it in Sephora, it just looked very soft and pretty. I just really loved the color. And I was like, oh, I don't know if this would work as a bronzer for me, but I want it to. So, but I just feel like the formula and the color is just so like light and pretty. You know, like that just looks pretty to me. It's a very pretty, like fair bronzer that I feel like would like work for a lot of light skin as well, you know, fair to light. Definitely resembles like a suntan. I'm gonna get my hair done soon and then I won't be able to use this brush anymore. Definitely looks pretty with that blush. Yeah, the more I look at this blush and I see the gold flecks, it doesn't bother me. I kind of think it's pretty, especially for summer, but especially if you are a person who has a lot of texture or breakouts on your cheeks, you might not like it. Because even like for whatever, like in this part of my face, I tend to have like more texture. And just seeing that, like those gold flakes there, I'm just like, I don't know if that's like the cutest. I think that's nice. Okay, so I just went in with contour in various places. So the product that I'm so excited to try is the new, wait, is this the one that I wanted to bring over here? Oh, here it is. These new luminizers from Melt Cosmetics. So what are they called? These are the Sex Foil Digital Liquid Highlights. Stargazer, Gold Ore are shades that I have over here. Gorgeous. By the way, shade range, beautiful, unbelievable. From, I think this is the lightest one, which is this really beautiful like pinky nude with like a gold, like a warm gold, whatever. I mean, I think it's gonna look really beautiful. It's like a little bit, I was gonna say it's a little bit dark. I haven't used it yet. You really don't know until you put it on your face, you know? But these are for face and body. They have all the way from like this guy to like really, really beautiful, like deep chocolatey color, like absolutely stunning. So I'm excited about these. Oh yeah, and then Gold Ore I just thought would be like a really nice body color, you know, for when I like bronze up my face a little bit too much and then I'm like, ooh, my legs are white. So yeah, it's got a pump guy. Do I want to use a sponge? I want to just swatch it on the back of my hand. I don't even know what the formula's like yet. Ooh, so pretty. It looks very peach. No scent, love that. Pretty lightweight, actually. All right, I'm gonna just like fully blend it into my hand. Pretty. Just a really beautiful sheen. So if you're like very fair skinned and looking at this, you were like, oh, that's gonna be too dark for me. It shears out really beautifully. Ooh, I really like that. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. I think I'm going to apply that with my sponge. So I'm gonna put out a little bit on the back of my hand, just kind of like work my sponge into it. Here we go, guys. I'm excited. Can you focus on it? Thank you so much. Interesting. I kind of feel like my fingers would be better. Well, it's a very pretty color. It is like this really just kind of like warm nude. And you know what's interesting? I was expecting it to be more like the actual formula to be a little bit more like wet and luminous, but it's not really. I mean, it's clearly luminous. Like you can see the really nice like pearl and the reflect or whatever, but it's not like wet. Like the actual formula is pretty lightweight. So if you have oily, yeah, you can get a better idea of it there. I couldn't really see it on the other side, I guess. I was having a hard time actually seeing it, but you know what I mean? Like it gives a really beautiful sheen, but it's not, the actual formula itself is not wet at all. I'm gonna go in with my fingers because I need to do everything even on the same side. What? On both sides. That's really beautiful. Just like a really nice like summer color. Very pretty. Really complements that blush and bronzer as well. I'm gonna take a little bit of that on my sponge down my nose. Since I started this skincare journey, it seems like I get really oily in my T-zone, and I'll apply powder, apply powder, apply powder over and over again, and my skin never really reaches like an in-between. It just goes from oily to dry in that area, which is so annoying, but whatever. I'm still adjusting. I just have to be patient, blah, 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 whatever. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to try out those complexion products. I'm pretty happy with everything. Yeah, I feel like I like everything a lot. I definitely think that this highlight with the combination of the blush and the bronzer is making me look like, you guys have actually commented a few times, like you look so tan. I swear it's just this background. I'm pale. I'm so fair. It's just the like contrast, you know? But having these really nice like peachy, I guess it's not even really peachy. Well, it's a little bit kind of coral, I guess. The coral with that like San Juan bronzer and that beautiful like pinky nude with the gold, with the like warm gold, just summer. You know what I mean? Absolutely loving it. I don't know, I think I'm gonna have to try this Wayne Goss concealer technique quite a bit to really see a difference. You know, like maybe the next time that we see friends or we go out to dinner or something, when I'm like wearing makeup for an extended period of time and I'm gonna be like laughing so that I can really test this area and like how it goes. But it's a little bit difficult because I feel like no matter what, I have to put foundation or powder or something there just so that it like, because I have darkness all around my eyes, less so in this area, I guess. I don't know, I kind of just have to like play with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any of these products, what your thoughts are, and let me know if there are any complexion products. What? Complexion products are my favorite to try. Like I just get so excited about a new concealer, a new foundation, a new primer. Yeah, all of them. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about these products in the comments down below, and let me know what you want to see next because I'm running out of ideas. Yay! Okay, bye. Oh, that doesn't really mix. Ugh. I mixed passion fruit green tea with hibiscus tea, which I thought would be good, but that's not. Oh, it's not very good.